Good morning, everybody. Happy, I think it's Earth Day, or is that yesterday? I don't care. It's Girth Day because Bobby's here. What up?
Oh yeah, lots of girth. Oh, just living the
Pow.
dream, Pat. How about you?
I've been dreaming. Dreaming it up. What's your dreams like?
Mostly nightmares, apparently, if I'm living them. But life
Hmm.
is good.
You had, we talked about it all of last week a little bit. You were promoting, saying the greatest show, the only show, if they're going to watch anything in Pennsylvania, it was a show you were on with Earl David Reed. How'd that go?
It was awesome, dude. 300-seat theater, completely sold out to the point where they offered standing tickets, like it was a rock show in the back of the theater. Now, I
Nice.
personally thought it would have been fun if they put them up front, like a mosh pit, because there's a little gap by the stage. But no, they stood in the back. It was a lot of fun. I did 30 up front, had a lot of fun, did my stuff. Earl killed. What more could you want out of life?
I could like it if our boy Harry Zoe can have a little patience. A lot of times Bobby runs late, and we haven't started till 8:05 a lot. I looked quick, I'm like, oh no, late and gay. How late are we? I'm like, it was 8:02 when he wrote that. It's like, love you, Harry. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Still within a
Um,
stream delay window. You know what I mean? We could have started at 8 o'clock on our end, and it just could have been a little time delayed.
yeah, it could have just been also me going running around for. It took me a little longer to move around at the moment. I was up, but it was just like I sometimes when I look for the morning stories, I do get caught up in reading the morning story. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I have to go talk about these. I guess I'm sitting here and reading them. You know what I mean? So, good morning, bud.
Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
going to get donuts before the show, and the paint truck parks on the other side of the road. So then all the cars coming behind the paint truck think they just get to go. And I almost hit a woman who's trying to take her kids to school, and then a middle schooler learns the word "your mom's a fucking cunt" at 7:30 in the morning.
I know this would be a pain in the ass, and I'm not saying that we have to do it, but maybe if like once a week you could record the audio of you getting the donuts, because it seems like we could have a couple of crazy person of the day or whatever, because it seems like you have very good I went to get donuts at the pudding, and it seems to dictate whatever mood you're going to be in for the day. So it'd be good to have that going. How do we think Bobby's going to end up with today?
That is, I do
After
kind of
based on
like if
that,
we started the show with me walking over to the gas station, but
it probably pain in the butt audio wise there. Yeah, so yeah,
yeah, we'll figure it out. We got plenty of time. But ironically, I'm in a great mood today because I got it out of my
that's
system.
good.
I could take that rage on somebody other than the wall.
Oh, wait, who?
The woman I called a cunt.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
shouldn't be
thought you
going.
just meant me.
y-
I
No, no,
know.
God, no. Yo,
Morning,
you're the
V.
man. Morning, V. Welcome aboard. Um, I am a bit of a king now at that gas station, though.
Mm.
They found out I do comedy, and now they're like, "What's your name?" And I was like, Bobby. They're like, "We thought so. You're the comedian." And so now when I walk in, it's always, "Hey, Bobby," like I'm Norm from Cheers, and so I gotta be like Raja, Kite.
They're like, you
That's their
like
names.
this joke? I tried this joke on you. Women
Yeah.
are dumb. Good, good, good.
Wife's
Stupid
husband
baby.
dies, and stupid bitch doesn't want to jump in the fire. Ha 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 ha.
For Abu's wife once showed her ankle. Whore. Good, 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 good.
What's sick
But
is they're
nice.
actually Sikhs.
I don't know. I know all the terms, but I don't know the difference between the things. I don't know.
Sikhs are the
It's
cool
like
ones
someone
with
can
the
say like,
turbans.
which Pokemon is this? I know I know the names, but I don't know the powers or the rankings.
The Sikhs weren't like Muslim, but they're the ones that wear the turbans. So after
Okay.
9/11, my favorite racist rumor started, which is they all have a dagger in their fucking turbans, and it wasn't true at all. They weren't the people we were mad at. Just people were like, "You're bad too." It's my favorite type of racism, just generalized.
Yes. Oh, that's what most of it is. It's a good time that way. It's great. And I'll say quickly, thank you, Harry. Though it was a lot of fun on Saturday being out with Carl and producer Chris. We had a fun one. Bobby, just so you know, at the end of the show, I think I did text you about this, but I did plug our idea about nominating Stuttering John to the Hall of Fame. Carl said he will make sure that we can whatever he needs to do to let people know to do that. We the groundswell is going to be the way I attacked it. I think will help us on Tuesday is I asked that everyone else that's listening if they can also nominate. I want their committee to be overwhelmed with nominations for Stuttering because they're no. Yes, some of these guys might write Stuttering John. Most people are going to write John Melendez. They're going to think there's this kid. Because think about how those things work. A bunch of people get together and go, we need to make this happen. So a bunch of people want this young Mexican boy, John Melendez, to be in the Special Olympics Hall of Fame. And they're going to nominate. So on the comments of when they shared one of their clips, one guy wrote, "We need to get Stuttering John into the Special Olympics Hall of Fame," and that has 40 likes on its own. That comment. So I have a good feeling that when we come on show Tuesday, we might not even be able to log in to go on. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
But what I also know is I'm pretty sure we'll be hearing someone talking about us pretty soon. V, thank you. You'll do it as well. Good morning, Kish. How are you? But yeah, Sue, just want to thank them again. They're always awesome having me on. It was a lot of fun. We talked about 9/11, but that was about how John, you'll like this, Bobby, and I'm taking away their thunder to go watch the story on it because Carl covered it. John saw on Facebook, on Twitter, that Rich Voss commented underneath a thing that him and Chad were doing back and forth. Just kind of joking argument, but talking about doing a show together. So Voss wrote underneath, I thought you guys hated each other. I hate to watch middles battle. If you know Voss, but if you know Voss, that's his blessing. You know what I mean? Like he calls it people. Mark Norman has talked about on Rogan several times that Voss still calls him a middle. He's like, I'm doing better than you. But that's his thing. Him, Bobby Kelly, whatever. But and then John went off and on a tirade and said, "You ruined 9/11." Basically, Voss ruined 9/11 for people because he bailed on a fundraiser that had John and Florentine and somebody else, but he wasn't even booked to be on it. He was literally added as a special guest later on and then said, "Hey, I can't make it. I got a better gig." So he's like, "You and all the 9/11 survivors didn't get money because of you. You're awful, man." And then after all that and stuff, Voss writes, he didn't see the comment, but he saw on the Twitter, John got mad at him. And Voss writes, "I was joking." He's like, "Oh, ha, ha, ha. Maybe I shouldn't have done the rant."
Maybe I shouldn't have done a rant.
Yeah, I should have yelled a lot about how you're the worst man ever. He's just like, it was a fucking joke. But it was.
What's crazy is till the apology, John and I were kind of on the same side. That certain people were responsible. Not just Voss, but certain groups were responsible for 9/11 that don't always get the credit they deserve.
I don't think that's where he was going. I like your
certain groups were told, "Hey, don't come to work today." It's weird how none of them showed up on that day.
But I do want to say again, Carl, Chris, thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun. So
and I did
have a show this week
at my big 300-person show. As soon as I got off stage for the intermission, I went out to see Earl and let him know, about 10 minutes. And what's he watching in the car? But you on fucking who are these podcasts? And I went, "Oh, that's my boy." Anyway, this guy, yeah, he's pretty funny, Bob. I like him. So you got Earl's blessing.
Nice. Oh yeah. And you know what? He got mentioned because a lady came on later who does I forget her name, Kinney or something. She does her fact checking, and they have her on at the very end. And they're like, and Carl's like, "Oh, meet Pat Oates." And she's like, "I've been on the show with him twice before, but I don't recall that either. I think she's got a mistake with somebody else." So we started to make jokes who she thinks I am. They named two other white people. I said, "I'm Earl David Reed." And everybody laughed at that because I know Earl's been on the show before. So we both mentioned each other on Saturday. So a lot of fun.
You said you had some big shows. You were outside Friday night.
I didn't say I had a big show. I said I had a show. And I don't want to call it big. It was sold out for what the place was, but it's still not big. The sellout was like 40 people, but it had to be that because our show was outside and it was probably at the highest 52 degrees. at night, at 8 o'clock at night. It was windy too. They have this patio. I guess a week before or so. They've been booking the place I do it. I've been trying to book bands now for the spring and summer, and I've told them, it's very simple to book around me. Just I take the third Friday of the month. That's it. For some reason, they cannot fathom that it's got some kind of consistency or makes sense. Or because every time they're always like, "Well, what day is it again? What you got? You got to tell us your schedule." I go, I'm telling you, it's the third. Go on no matter what happens on the calendar, the third Friday. You just circle that and say, "Great comedy." You never have to just do that for 12 months, and then you'll never have to mess with it. But they booked the band, and the band, in their mind, was going to be better for the bar, which usually bands are than comedy. Comedy doesn't have like a huge turnover. People are sitting down having drinks, whatever. But bands, people are getting up. They can talk. They can do whatever. I get that. So they were like, "Well, we need to have them inside. So what are we going to do with you?" And I think I talked about on here. They were going to move us to this axe throwing room that was literally like, it was like maybe not even 20 yards wide. Like it was so tight. I mean, I can't. I go. And I already at that point I already had 25 tickets sold, and by the time by 6 o'clock on Friday, we were sold out of 40 tickets because. But I get there, they're like, "Please get here early." The manager messaged me and says, "Get here early. We got to figure this out. We got to do outside, or possibly you can go upstairs." Upstairs is not a closed off another room. Upstairs is just a circle around where the music's. I'm like, how are we going to do that with the band, a full band playing? We can't do that. It has to be outside. I emailed customers that bought Eventbrite tickets. I tried the best I could, but most people don't even check. How many people really check their emails? I mean, that's the problem too. It's the only access I have. I'm doing that, but I'm almost trying to just do it to cover my ass. But at the same time, I wasn't going to argue. If anyone told me, I already told myself, I might take a loss today. If anyone says, "I don't want to go outside. It's freezing. I don't have a jacket with me. Why would I think I need to be warm? I got my car, got here, whatever." I was going to say, if you want to stay for the show, I'll send your money back. You know what I mean? At this point, it was $10 ticket. I didn't really care.
Yeah, it is what
I care.
it is.
I want money, but it's not their fault. I'm not going to be that dick. So I get there, we go outside. They've got this patio area, and around the edges of it, they have like awning. So what they did was they moved all their tables. They're usually all over the place, and just put them under so perfectly all the tables, and then there's like a bar. Every customer was going to be covered in case it did sprinkle or anything, and they'd be a little warmer because they're against the wall. But the comic himself would have to stand almost in a round in a way. But it's not like super cool round, but like still, we made it work. Look wise, whatever. People seemed fine. Sound was going to be good and everything. And as I'm trying to set that up, manager walks out and says, "Hey," and it's just like this too. "Hey, you're going to have to go in there and talk to your fucking customers. They're fucking pissed when I told them that they can't be inside and they're going to have to go outside. So you have to deal with that shit. I'm not dealing with it," and walks away. And I'm like, "What? Wait." So I walk in and these people look upset. They're sitting in the restaurant area while the other band is setting up. By the way, just to be clear, all my comics pointed this out. The band, and I'm not shitting on anyone, whatever. We counted, and if you include like parents, friends, roadies, guys trying to bang them, they had 27 people inside. We had a standing room kind of stuff. We had 47 people outside. I'm not saying the greatest job, but we were doing better. Everyone called outside than they were doing inside. But anyway, I walk over to this couple and I'm like, "Hey, I heard you guys come to the comedy show." And they're like, "Yeah, we heard it." And they just explain themselves. We heard it's gonna be outside. I don't have a coat. They look very nice. I don't have a coat. I'm gonna be freezing. I say, "I understand. If you'd like your money back, you can come out to another show. That's fine." She goes, "One of the comics on your show we've known for years. She used to live in Maine. We had the weekend off. We were coming down to surprise her. She doesn't even know we're not leaving. We drove down hours to see her because it'd be awesome. We have everything kind of work out timing wise so we could see her." And I said, "Yeah, I will give you your money back if you just watch the show."
To come to a show at a bar in Connecticut 5 hours?
Because they had other things going on with the whole
Tell
thing.
your
with
friend
her
to
and
be
friends
more
and stuff.
successful. Tell your friend to get
Yeah.
into a real fucking comedy club and surprise her there. Sorry, Pat.
I appreciate the came to the show, but like I felt awful, and I'm like, "I'll give you your money back if you want." And if you know Connecticut, Bobby, if I'm on a show, it's gonna be better than any show in fucking comedy clubs. So fuck you, clothing clubs. Anyway, so I was just
No,
like,
I know.
I know, I'm kidding. I was explaining to them the whole situation, and they're like, "Well, we'll try to find something in the car. We might have blankets or something. Like whatever you got to do." And the lady goes, "Can we at least see what it's like?" So I bring her out and I show her the setup, and she goes, can we? She goes, I know we're just a party of two. Can we pick our table? I go, you do whatever you want. You choose whatever spot. Even if it looks like a table of 6, I will make it be a table of 2. You choose whatever you want to do. I feel awful.
You got
So
a
she's
hot
like,
10, I'll throw you one for a guest spot at this point.
yeah.
Jesus.
So basically at that point, it's like, so she's So there was a corner to this place, and there's a little standing table, like with stools, like a tall table. And she goes, "Can we have that?" I'm like, "Absolutely." She got herself looked, and then he went out to the car, and they had like an old camping blanket. It was like nicer looking, but like a camping blanket. And she was like wrapped like Nanook from the north, but smiling, laughing, enjoying the whole show. So once they were outside, they were warm. Oh, also, I was told, and I said to her, I said, "I'm sorry if there was any confusion." She goes, "Well, that woman just came up to us and said, 'Are you here for comedy or music?' And we said comedy." And she goes, "Oh, well, good luck with that. You're outside. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be freezing." And then walked away. That's where I was told that this was supposed to be anger I had to deal with. They were just confused because why were they just yelled at for coming to their venue? So obviously, I'm getting the vibe that one of the managers is not happy 2 events are going on, and understandable. I've managed places, no whatever. If she wasn't happy with that, but she's the one I set it up with. So it's not like she was unaware, and she's the one who said we'll make it work. But I guess now just I'm saying, and then I'm told as they walk by quickly, the management, "Hey, just so you know, you got to tell your people they're not getting any service. If they want stuff, they're gonna have to walk inside and go. But we don't have anybody to send out there. We're gonna be too busy in here with the bartender. We don't have enough people. You're good." And then the guy who runs the place. He used to be running the kitchen, and manager left this guy, and he's a good dude. He's just busy. He's hard to deal with on the phone because he's always busy, but he's a business person, and he just said, "We'll make this work." He himself was running all the food out when they did it. We didn't get a waitress, but no one minded because I even made jokes about like the best way to warm up is once in a while to get up, go get yourself a drink, come back, move your arms and legs. The whole audience embraced it. A lot of them were there for that one girl. They came to see her, a woman. But like they were all there. Everybody had a good time. There was one couple, and they were much older, and they sat for about 20 minutes. And the lady nicely said, "I apologize, but I'm too cold and I'm gonna have to leave." And I walked by, I even walked over and said, "If you just let me know to send your money back." And she's like, No, you guys were doing great. We'll just come back another." So if I see that old lady again, if you're watching, old lady, you're in for free. I mean, whatever.
Come right
I appreciate
through,
everything, but also the comics all stepped it up. These are younger comics that I haven't seen perform too much, and usually are okay at best. They all, yeah, it was like we were all laughing more to stay warm, but they all stepped up and kicked that. It was almost like a fuck you to the inside. So it ended up being fun and good. It was kind of a pain in the butt. And we're going to do them outside going forward. Hopefully it's not 2 degrees in May when we do it.
It just doesn't make sense. Of the 2 genres, music is better outside.
It is. And I thought that too. And I looked it up quick because I thought maybe the sound ordinance thing kicks off in like May in the town of Derby. So we are earlier than that time of year. So I think that might have also been the decision behind it. Also, I think they're expecting a lot more people to be out there. They didn't want staff out there, and this band had a lot of equipment and shit. Shout outs to Pretty Nasty. That's the name of the 4-lady band. Pretty Nasty. As my friend Dion said, I guess Pretty didn't show up.
Dion's the man.
He was. So, but yeah, besides that, good times, whatever. Oh, real quick update. Charlotte, no pups. Not yet. I looked that up.
At a certain point, we're going to be a year in going, where are these fucking pups?
Oh, Morning Stormy. It's going to be at that point pretty nasty. Even I don't think even nasty even shows. Yeah, that's what they were. Pretty nasty. It was just 4 middle-aged women. If Joan Jett wrote a song, they know it. They sang the shit.
You guys want to play some rock and roll again? I love rock and roll.
It was like her, Pat Benatar, whatever. It's like, you want me to hit you with the next shot, whatever? Like, no, fire away, but no thanks.
You better hope that best shot's penicillin, you nasty cunt having motherfucker.
Best shot all over your back. How about that one? Hey. Oh, splatter. But yeah, I'm happy we both had good weekends. Do you have any? You have a story you want to lead off with? You want me to kick it in?
I've got one I want to lead off with. I've also got a warning for people. If you go to Netflix, Pat, I know you've been watching a lot of shit recently, and I'm trying to save you from
I've been going
falling
to
in.
the theater too, so I've been all over. I went to the theater twice last week. Just so you know, I'm a
Oh
culture
God,
man.
are you okay?
No, movie theater, not theater theater.
No. If you hear that from me, where I'm like, I was at the movies twice in a week, that's usually a sign things are not going well. That I am
Oh no!
very
I've missed going to the movies, and then we found a sweet one with awesome seats, and like we're the only ones
Oh,
in the
good,
place, but it's awesome. Yeah,
good.
it's been.
Okay. The movie theater used to be my depression place, so that's why I was like, oh fuck, is
Oh
Pat
no,
okay?
that's my happy place. I've been mad I haven't gone because after COVID, people I just forgot about it. Every movie was on TV, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I like movies better in the theater. I'll watch them again and go, oh, this movie stinks. It was because of my experience
The
that
theater
made me
was
like it
Mary.
more.
The theater was Mary Lincoln's happy place too, because she finally got away from that faggot she was married to.
Homo Lincoln.
But don't get tricked into watching Baby Reindeer.
I'm not
It's
strict. I watched the trailer too many times. That fat bitch. What I appreciate about my girlfriend, she saw the trailer and just goes, "Fat women can never be successful." She's like,
yeah,
all that shit she just lied about, saying she's a lawyer and driven. You're not driven. You're too busy eating. You can't run around. You get fat after once you're successful.
yep, yes, sir. And basically, the whole movie is about him getting the dude main character got raped by a writer or something, and now he loves trans people and fat women because he hates himself. I just saved you guys 3 hours.
Oh
But
no,
my
you
first
spoiled it.
story, no, I didn't. I really didn't. There's nothing to spoil.
Oh, here, let me just answer V. I don't remember that. Oh, I saw Civil War on Wednesday, which wasn't bad. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Kirsten Dunst and stuff like that. I thought the commercials and everything. AI. This was the first all AI made trailers, so they even said that the AI kind of made the movie more about the trailers more about a civil war happening in America now. But it was really covering a woman on the lines of war. But ever, it was pretty good. But then I saw the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and it's got Reacher, it's got Witcher. It was fucking. This is a total Guy Ritchie fucking movie based on a true story. So if you like entertaining, but also explosions for no reason, a little, maybe almost too much violence, but also handsome dudes messing people up, and then a woman who acts poorly, it's a perfect Guy Ritchie movie, and that's exactly what it was. It was fun, but this lady almost ruined it. Like every time she came on screen and she's the lead lady, you're like, oh, this lady just stinks. And they kind of, in her part, you could tell maybe she fought for it to be like, nah, we have to be like women are powerful and they can do anything. And they're like, all right, but this is also a Winston Churchill's secret group going in of thugs going in taking stuff out. We get it, you helped the little lady, but relax. Like I watched too much of that, and I watched the movie Damsel. Don't watch you want another one. Don't watch. I got tricked into that on Netflix with the girl from Stranger Things. I kept going. All right, I'll try it. And finally, holy dude, they just rewrote. Did you know black stepmoms are very smart in Dragon Times? Did you know there were black stepmoms in Dragon Times? I didn't, but Angela Bassett's like, I wouldn't go in there. Like, oh, it's got that. Her being
You
all
better
smart.
take your stank ass dragon breath up out of my house. Decide in or out, motherfucker.
I don't mind a woman hero. I'm not saying anything against that, but when you make it so every man is just straight retarded and just girl power in Dragon Times, fuck you. This movie stunk. And 11 stinks at being a fucking lead hero. Real bad. She had this giant like dress thing and she had to have a basically, I'm not spoiling it, but I'm spoiling it. There you go. This movie is a woman, a girl is her father just trains her like they did back then. It's like we want our town to do well. So if you let our prince marry your daughter, we'll give a ton of money to your town. Now the girl didn't what they didn't know when they got there, the twist is they sacrificed the girls to the dragon because the dragon won't be happy unless he gets 3 sacrifices because something bad happened, whatever. They just toss her into a fucking well, a pit. And she goes flying down a million. She goes falling. She falls basically the equivalent if you fell from a plane at the highest level. It just lands like this and goes, all right, now time to figure shit out. Like, what the fuck? And then she just starts ripping off the dress, and now she's badass. At one point, she even uses the phrase, we're just having girl talk in Dragon Times. You get, if you want to get mad at a movie like Mystery Science Theater style, watch this movie. But if not, dude, fuck, all the women at the end survive. All the men are gay. It's dumb. Just
Sounds like Lincoln.
yeah, stupid Mary Lincoln. Yeah, you're right, Stormy. Putty power, right? Is that what it means for putty?
Yep.
All right, now Bob. Sorry, Bob. You go right ahead with your story.
No. Speaking of women being forced into the spotlight, have you heard the latest with your girl, Caitlin Clark?
The Nike deal?
No.
Oh, the Nike
Caitlin
deal's
Clark-
awesome.
Caitlin Clark has a new enemy on Twitter who she's been going back and forth with. And I know you left and said your life got much happier. Maybe she should do the same instead of blocking Antonio Brown, who for some reason has just been on a tirade against Caitlin Clark.
Why?
It started with because he's Antonio Brown and it's hilarious.
Okay.
The one that got him ultimately blocked was he tweeted, Caitlin looks like the type of girl to keep it hairy.
Dude, what is he? How old is Antonio Brown now?
Like 38. He's the man.
I know she's a senior and she did a year, but she's got to be at her most 22.
Something like that.
You can't be talking to a young girl.
I don't know, man. They're both athletes, right? You want to be treated like a star? He's treating her like a star.
Stars don't get. No one asked LeBron how he keeps it.
I've tweeted things about LeBron's mom's cunt hair.
Yeah, you're not a good guy either, though. We're not saying this
Okay,
story
whoa,
is about
whoa,
Caitlin
whoa.
or LeBron.
Are you saying I'm as good as Antonio Brown? Because that's the quote I'd like to leave this show with.
You are as good as Antonio Brown.
He called Caitlin his cracker of the day. And
now,
then
why
my
is it
favorite
race
was,
involved?
just
What
because
is he doing?
he's the man. Then he tweeted a picture of a dude with like the meme face of having like what's that smell look? And was like, oh, look, it's Caitlin's boyfriend leaving the house. So Antonio Brown's been going in on Caitlin Clark. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Is it Caitlin Clark for blocking him? You wanted to be treated like a man? This is how men get treated. You know what I mean? People are mean on Twitter. It's a tough world. Is it Antonio Brown for, being Antonio Brown? I don't know.
Jeez.
Is it that Burficet dude who hit Antonio Brown and gave him the CTE that led to all these wild explosions? Is it ESPN? Because as of right now, Antonio Brown is breaking more stories than anybody on their network through his Twitter. So people have been going there because he's the one breaking the stories. Pat, who's the piece of shit in this story?
Well,
Or is it Caitlin Clark for just not shaving? Just shave it.
Right.
If you put out a picture of a shaved pussy, we all don't have to deal with Antonio Brown speculation.
Wait, what did you just ask for?
I'm just saying, if you just put that pic out, nobody has to speculate anymore. It'll shut down Terry. It'll shut down Antonio Brown. It'll shut down all the doubters. All we need to see is that sweet, sweet vag.
Okay. All right. First of all, before I even get to my who's the piece of shit in the story, and I'm not saying this to be insulting in the slightest. I'm just stating facts. No one, when thinking about Caitlin Clark, is looking for, as Bobby just quoted, this quote unquote sweet, sweet vag. That is not why she is famous or ready. No, we don't need an OnlyFans V. We don't need any of that stuff from Caitlin Clark. We don't need any of that stuff. Caitlin Clark is an athlete. She hasn't asked to be treated like a man. She's asked to be treated like an athlete, a high-profile athlete. And she didn't even say those words, really. She's just doing what she does and should be. Her Nike deal for a woman's shoe is great. $10 million. She's going to get $76,000, which, by the way, I've said on here, and I've talked to people about this even on there. I've become like a Caitlin Clark conversation. Like when people talk about Trump, I go, oh, Caitlin Clark, do I have to jump in on this side? Because I'm pro it. But at the same time, Caitlin Clark is getting $76,000 for her first year. And people are like, that's so underpaid. I'm like, because you're comparing it to a job that's not the same thing. But if you ask any college person, if they left college and their first job was a job outside of their degree, which basketball is. Yes, she went to school for basketball, but her degree, her diploma does not say basketball. It says whatever she majored in. If she got a job that would pay you just under $80,000 a year for your first job, you'd be pretty fucking pumped. And you get travel. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be excited about that. But that being said, also, she got the deal with Nike, $10 million. She's going to have her own shoe. Her jersey, the first day it was available, the Indiana jersey, Fever jersey, which, by the way, no one wants the Indiana Fever. But if you do catch it, I mean, that's got to I don't know. The Indiana Fever jersey, the Caitlin Clark jersey, sold more that day than the Dallas Cowboys sold of all their jerseys last year. So, and they make sure to put that fact out there. But that being said, Caitlin Clark is not the piece of shit for blocking someone. That is how athletes handle it. Go see when you watch a real athlete, not a retired one, not one on ESPN, an athlete right now, look at their X or their Twitter handle, whatever you want to call it, and look at how many people follow them and how few they follow as it is. Most people don't even give the follows. So they're definitely unfollowing and blocking a lot of people. So she's supposed to do that. And also, she's seeing it's a media person to her. She probably knows he exists, but to me, and most of the people right now, if you ask them, if you did the grandma check right now, we talked about this. Who do you know? Antonio Brown or Caitlin Clark? Hands down, Caitlin Clark. It's not even close at this moment right now. But then again, it is. He's not known. Most people are going to go, oh, the guy with 17 kids? You're like, no, that's Antonio Cromartie. They won't even know which Antonio it fucking is. Like, the one that was married to Meg Ryan? No, that's Antonio Banderas. Nope, wrong Antonio. They won't even know, oh, the pizza place at every corner? No, that's just Antonio's. They won't fucking know which one it is. They won't care. But it's not her. It's not Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is taking something out of the playbook of Kendrick Perkins, where he also got a lot of attention from his handle when he's at ESPN going, here's my value. I'll stir shit up. And then probably behind the scenes is messaging her going, hey, it's just for, whatever thing. Sorry, baby. You can still send me that sweet pic if you want, I guess. But maybe going a little too filthy to the point where ESPN at one point may drop him. If he keeps going to the part about her vagina and her pubes and things, he could get fired soon. That's a thing they don't really want there because guess who's way behind the WNBA? ESPN.
He doesn't work for ESPN, though.
He's just sharing their stuff?
He's beating them to the punch. Like, he's all these trade stories, like Stephon Diggs leaving and things like that. He's tweeting out like at least a day or two before ESPN gets, which nobody knows how. Sorry, I made that confusing.
No, that's my bad. The confusion. I thought they might have signed him. I didn't know him. I thought maybe he's there now, like Perkins and those guys, and he was tweeting through his ES, like JJ Redick and shit.
No, I know what you were thinking. No, he's just a fan at this point.
Oh, okay. Then he's not. If he ever wanted a job with ESPN, that's over. If he ever wanted a job with the NFL, that's over. Everything he's writing there would have to be because the females are going to sports more than ever. He's being an idiot, but regardless, it's not either one of them. It is women who aren't buying the season pass to the WNBA
for $37.
We broke it down on here. $37 and you get all the games. They play 37 games. $1 a game. You get to watch the whole season. If they sold all those, like so many where they're like, not that you can sell out season passes, but like, holy crap, we've done that. Antonio Brown would be asking if he could be a sideline reporter. If it wasn't still a joke to everyone that, oh, isn't this cute? Everyone's pushing. I mean, I know a lot of people have argued with me that they think this groundswell of Caitlin Clark is really just the gay agenda, especially the lesbian agenda, getting behind this woman, creating this, they really think, creating this thing where people be like, you have to accept us, and we're forcing that. Because then people behind that, the black lesbian agenda is like, well, why aren't they pushing one of us? Why are they pushing her? Dude, it's been so crazy where they can't just go, this girl's good at basketball, let her do it. So
she's also straight and white.
Right. That's the part. That's the best part.
I love that.
That she's not a lesbian, but they're really like, they're not letting this proud lesbian woman. She's not a lesbian. I know she plays in your sport, but she's not. It's the people who don't even know what's going on, which includes Antonio and everyone else. Just let the girl play ball. An athlete doesn't even need to be on X. She just wants to be a person and be on there. And believe me, if anyone knows about angry people talking about your parts on X, it's me. So So it's like, so let me all let those things go. Caitlyn, good luck. Antonio Brown, go fuck yourself. Piece of shit. Just
Uh,
women who don't understand what's going on.
I mean, I do think the piece of shit is women generally, but
That is
in
not
this
what I was
instance,
saying.
I mean, that's what I heard. In this instance, I don't think it. What's
What
up,
up,
Trent?
Trent?
I don't think it's Caitlin Clark. Uh, you can block people, but you should have a thicker skin. Like one of the stories that drives me the most nuts. Do you remember when Carmelo Anthony tried to fight Kevin Garnett and what
Yes.
he said that his wife tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios? That's what led to the big fight. That's not a fight worthy line, right? Like if going, hey, your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios, that's not, I'm going to meet you in the locker room. And if it is, if that's your line, you will never play against me in the NBA again. Like you're too soft. The
Wait, hold on.
idea of him,
Hold on,
yeah,
one second. One second. Why isn't take away the Honey Nut Cheerios part?
yeah,
He's saying I've eaten out your wife.
yeah, pretty much makes you
That's
gay.
not fighting words for you.
You licked where my
Some
jizz has
man
been.
says to you, "Yo,
You
dude,"
cleaned up
he's
after I
implying that your
finished
wife
her.
cheated on you. He's implying that he's gone down on your wife. He's telling people what it tastes like. He's been there enough times to he's eaten your wife and had cereal, done a comparison, and said these are the ones it tastes like. Because it wouldn't just be a one-time thing. He's been down there so much he knows what brand cereal, not even just what brand, but not just Cheerios, but a certain type of Cheerio, which one it would be. It would also imply that it's sweet but also full of nut, which is super gross.
Yeah, my nut
So
that he's
there's a
eating.
lot. That dude, fisticuffs.
No. Because if he had just straight up been like, yo, I hit your wife from the back, that would be worse for me than he ate my wife out.
Why? It's
'Cause
still a
that's,
sexual act with your wife. It's
yeah, but
attack on your wife.
it's kind of gay. You're looking where my dick's been. Like, I still win
Your
that.
dick's also been in
Plus,
her.
Garnett looks like Garnett looks. I know he didn't eat anybody out. Okay? That's the one stereotype that's a
It's
good
not
thing.
about them actually doing it. The guy knows his wife didn't really sleep with the
That's my
person.
point.
It's the fact he's calling her a whore.
Yeah, all right, cool. You called my girl a whore. Watch me drop 35 on you. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that doesn't
Honey Nut
do
Cheerios,
it.
Stormy, not just regular Cheerios. There's flavor.
Yeah. This isn't that level of insult going, Caitlin's got a hairy bush. You know who else probably has a hairy bush? Exactly. Thank you, Trent. He's tasting my sloppy seconds.
Yeah, but Bobby, sex is also that. He's also if he goes from behind, it's still where your penis was. That whole
Yeah,
hang
but
up
he's
where
not
your penis was.
licking out where my dick was.
Bobby, this insane thing where you don't think women clean themselves is nuts.
We just heard about Caitlin's hairy ass bush. Do you really think these women are super hygienic,
That's
Pat?
not real.
Just
She's
like the
not
Honey
running
Nut
around with
Cheerios.
Harry Bush.
I think she
can't hit
is.
threes with Harry Bush.
I think she's hanging out with George's grandson, Harry.
Harry Bush.
But for me, the piece of shit in this story isn't her. It's not Antonio Brown. He's just trying to get attention. That's what he did. It's not Burficit. Yes, he gave him the CTE, but are we gonna like hold the guy who gave OJ Simpson CTE accountable for the murders? No. So we're not gonna hold Burficit. For me, it's women in general. If you had just shaved, there wouldn't be a debate.
Wait, what? There's no debate.
If all women there's the heated debate now. And I don't know if you've been on Antonio Brown's Twitter. It's going back and forth about whether this
Well,
bitch
with
got a
those
push or not.
people,
What's crazy is her coach commented she doesn't.
no, her coach did not comment. What coach? The Iowa,
Iowa
coach.
coach. No, the Indiana. She was like, that was the first part of the draft. I had to be like, let me see that pussy. You can't hit threes with a bush. Bad Oat said so.
I didn't say you can't hit threes with the bush, but there's no way you're going to make space. You know what I mean? Like, when you got to take that one step in and pop back the Curry, you can't do that with a fucking full set of hairdo. There's no possible way.
Because normally I
Larry
give girls
Bird
as much space
shaved
as possible.
Larry Bird's
When they have
balls
a
were
bush.
clean as a whistle when he was in threes.
Magic Johnson's, however, not so much.
Well, it was because AIDS burned it. Oh, dude, I got to say AIDS like 27 times on who were these podcasts. I was so happy.
That's the best insult. So yeah, for me, it's
Well,
women.
we were talking real quick, just so you know, we were talking about the Brady Bunch and Mr. Brady. If people don't know, Robert Reed, the actor, died of AIDS. So I was just so happy to go, yay. But yeah, the piece of shit in the story, Bobby, is you.
No, it's women. If all women just shave their bush, then like
See, for that
there'd
statement.
never be a debate.
Wait, but why does you want them all shaved?
I don't want to be disgusted when you pull your pants down. This
You're
should
not
be an
going to see
exciting
all women.
time. All women I hook up with should.
Okay, that's the fine statement. If you are
No,
planning on hooking up with Caitlin Clark, then yes, you can make demands. If
I'm
Antonio
saying,
Brown if this is his way of trying to hook it up with Caitlin Clark, it's weird negging and a flirting.
dude,
I think Antonio Brown's
it
trying to
could
get some
work.
Caitlin Clark.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He just wants to see the bush like I do.
Why do you guys want to see her? Caitlin Clark is a great athlete and a fantastic basketball player, and I'm interested to watch her play basketball. There's no attraction to Caitlin Clark. She looks like just
Dude, what was your favorite moment of the U.S. women's soccer team?
Oh, definitely. I know what you're gonna say. It definitely wasn't when Lesbo Magoo showed her no tits while doing a knee stand. I didn't give a fuck about that at all.
Even though she had no tits and her name was Lesbo Magoo, still the best highlight I've ever seen of women's soccer. So, I'm just saying,
I think it was Brandy Chastain was her actual name.
Yeah, and she was all right, but yeah, that was the best moment.
Well, I didn't watch it, so that's just the only moment they showed us.
Yeah, why do you think they chose that? They're like, this is the one enjoyable part of this shit. We can't watch the bitch
it wasn't.
and
It made me go, I don't want to watch that. I hate when the soccer men slide on their knees. Sliding on your knees is dumb. If your celebration is knee slide, you're like, stop. You're like, I don't want to see that ever.
What if it's wheelchair basketball? Are you okay with
on their knees sliding?
Celebration then? Yeah, after they win the game, like you hit a game winner, then you throw yourself out of the chair and you're sliding across the floor.
Well, what if I went up? You better. What if my job is I'm the guy who, when they score, takes them out of the chair and then launches them into the knee slide. Now I'm in. If I get to launch a goofy arm and just fire them and they get to willy-nilly their fly away, yeah. Then, know what, Bobby? You're right. Now but if all women have to shave, so do all people in wheelchairs.
Yeah. I don't see why most people don't shave. Who wants a hairy private area?
See, Trent believes that Bush is also cool. See, I think just like it's like pizza, Bobby. Some people like toppings, some people don't. Some people like different styles. Some people like it well done, some people like it cheesy and gooey and weird. It's like
I have a hard time saying it's cool when the guy was the head of the CIA and then became president, probably killed John F. Kennedy, and is the reason why we're fighting all the major wars we're fighting today. Made the Clintons possible. So I don't think Bush is a good thing ever.
Do you think Jenna Bush has a bush?
Who's Jenna Bush?
The granddaughter, the daughter of the one you were saying, but the granddaughter. She's on that Good Morning, whatever. She gets drunk with that Coda lady.
I'm gonna say if your name is Bush, you should probably shave.
Do you think Barbara Bush had a bush?
Yes, big time. I don't think they had
big
fucking weed whackers. Yeah, that's what they called her. That's big time Bush. Why did you get that nickname?
What up, PTB?
We don't make weed whackers strong enough to take out what Barb's got going on down there.
Oh no! Don't say that sentence out of context. That's not good for you. All right. You want to continue with ladies?
Yep.
Are you familiar with the works of the comedian Arj Barker?
Nope.
Okay, Arj Barker is an American comedian, but his huge success is Australia, some of Europe, something like that. He is around here. He does Atlanta places.
Harry, what? Do you know this broad, Harry? Or the guy from Australia in our chat?
It's a guy, Arj Barker.
Arj, yeah, of course.
Do you know who it is now?
I was just kidding.
Right.
I was trying
Comedian Arj Barker kicks breastfeeding mother and baby out of a show after saying it was too awkward. So basically, he was at his show in Australia. He's performing. He's doing his thing. I think the theater holds about 700 people. They said they had sold. I think it was 800 seat theater. He sold about 700 something tickets. And by the way, I think somebody's got an OnlyFans shot of your dumb feet. But so here comes some Bobby Wiki feet. Here they go. Everybody get them Bob Wiki feet. Yeah, Arj. Arj was at a theater performing and noticed a woman with a baby and was like, and went over and kind of made a joke, like, but I guess they thought it was a joke. Was like, hey, get out of here. Basically, he heard how it looks here. He heard some gurgling sounds. Baby's 7 months old. Not any age baby should go to a comedy show. A baby can't enjoy a comedy show. I don't understand people bring babies to comedy shows. I've seen people bring toddlers, like 4 years old, something like that. And not that they're going to get the jokes, but they can still laugh and whatever. I've had fun at shows where little kids were like laughing and stuff because they'll hear like, I've on purpose like done a joke and then turned to the kid and been like, poop. And then the kid loses his mind and he's having fun still. And he's like, I'll let him say it again. You let him play along, whatever. But like, this is a 7-month-old baby. And Barker clashed with the mother at the Athenaeum Theater during his Melbourne International Comedy Festival, where the 7-month-old baby made a few gurgling sounds. I was sitting there and she gurgled a bit, said the mother, Trish Ferranda, the equivalent of someone coughing. So I guess not a loud noise, like a whatever, a little gurgle. Ferranda claimed that Barker stopped and acknowledged the baby before he cracked a few jokes about the situation. At the end of this skit with a little baby in the room, he said, I speak baby, and the baby said, take me outside. Which, by the way, I find very funny.
Yeah,
I think
hilarious.
you're going to do it as a comic, that's a pretty good way. Like the baby's like, he goes, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry, mom. The baby just said, please take me outside. I shouldn't be here at a comedy show. Funny way to say, please leave. At that point, I was like, I don't think he was joking about that. Like, no, he was not. The mother claimed her child made a little noise, but was just being a baby at a fucking comedy show. Barker approached Trish for a second time due to the disturbance. And she goes, I was actually breastfeeding when he came and stood in front of me, and he was basically telling me to leave. People were laughing, and I don't think he was joking. So I said to him, do you actually want me to leave? And he's like, yeah, I do. And a group of 10 or 12 people in solidarity with her got up and walked out, even though she was humiliated. The woman's family member claimed on X that Barker said the pair were ruining his train of thought. Yeah, they were ruining his train of thought. A lady had her breast out and a baby was sucking at a comedy show. It's not a restaurant where everyone's eating. Okay, we'll get into the part where I'm mad about it in a minute. Well, thanks to the countless women and one grandfather who left in protest. Atrocious. You're in Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Have an ounce of respect. A woman had purchased a ticket for a night out with her sister and friend to laugh and enjoy herself, and you badger her, encourage her to leave the festival. And Ferranda also told people she didn't see any issue with bringing a baby to a show. Barker, dubbed Australia's favorite American comedian, slammed theater staff for allowing the child into the show. The show is strictly age 15 plus, as clearly stated on the ticket itself. She had an infant with her. The baby was disrupting my performance. On behalf of the other 700 people who paid to see the gig, I politely told her the baby couldn't stay. She thought I was kidding. She made the exchange a bit awkward. I felt bad about the whole situation and stayed on the night more than once. I offered her a refund. Theater staff should not have seated a baby in my audience in the first place. The tense exchange divided the internet, the whole internet thing. However, critics faulted Trish for bringing the young child to the infant. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Arj Barker for making a deal of this and not just performing and just allowing the baby to be there? They didn't say the baby was screaming and crying. The baby was just making baby noises, but sitting there close enough for him to see in this theater and see this woman breastfeeding at times, taking care of a baby. Is it Arj Barker? Is it the woman for bringing a baby to the theater? I mean, this can be a huge distraction. I know a lot of people don't get it. You get over it. You're already in your head. You're doing your act, whatever. As a comic, you notice a lot of odd things. And believe me, it's hard enough to get an audience's attention and keep it for a long period of time. That's our job to do that. But if you give them anything else to look at, like a baby, the whole time, people are going to go, oh, look, the baby. And now you're not listening to the jokes. And then even if he tries to make the baby part of it, it's going to ruin anything anyway. So it's going to be terrible in that regard. Is it the baby for going and being a stupid baby? The baby should have been like shitting his pants, like, I don't want to go, and done everything he can to stop them from going. Is it the people who walked out in solidarity? Like, all right, if she has to leave, fine. But to now make it a weird protest, that means you never wanted to be at the show. Because I'm not knowing how much it costs, but if you're in a theater at a festival for the guy who's supposedly Australia's favorite guy, I'm guessing it wasn't a cheap ticket. Now you're going to get up and fucking leave and not see the show to meet cool the baby? Or is it people on the internet arguing this? This is almost as dumb as the whole Antonio Brown, Caitlin Clark, Bush thing. People, get stuff to do. Stop having conversations there. Bobby, who's a piece of shit?
The woman who brought a baby to a comedy show. It's a festival. You made the decision months in advance. I'd say probably longer than you've had the baby. You made the decision to go to this comedy show. You could have found a sitter. You could have kept your legs together. You couldn't have had it in a bobo. It's all possibilities to not bring this kid to a comedy show. Also, if you love this guy so much that you had to go while you were breastfeeding, you would know him well enough to know that babies don't belong at his shows, right? I like you, Pat. There are some comedians that could have kids at the show. You're one of the few guys who would probably make it work. Most of the comedians I work with, I'd go, no, keep your kids as far away from these people as you possibly can, right? So for me, the piece of shit's the woman for bringing the kid, but also it part of it does fall onto this dude, right? If you're a dad. Would you bring your daughter to see Crystalia?
Now that I know who he is, no. But I mean, and this is gonna sound terrible. She has seen Crystalia. Because before all that shit came out, he came to Foxwoods and I was performing on the show too. But she sat in the back and I sat with her. She wasn't unattended. And she also, you're even too young for him at that point.
My bad. I didn't mean to make you out to be a bad guy. My point was like, now you wouldn't. So if this Arlo guy just gets a few charges, then you don't have to worry about kids at your show ever again.
Right. No, but to be fair with that one, Crystalia isn't going to do anything from this. I wouldn't let her go to the meet and greet. She could go watch the show, and I'd ask her to sit in the
Especially
back,
because
but
it's
she
spelled
can't.
MEAT.
Yes, exactly. But I would have no problem with her going to watch a show. She chose to go see a comedian, even if it was a guy who's not funny like fucking Crystalia. But oh, and by the way, hey Dominic, what's going on? So
The Nader.
it's twofold. Okay, so you would hope in a comedy club, a smaller place, a place that holds a couple hundred, that's it. A lot of times staff will come up, and if their policy is we let any children come in or a mother can bring her baby, they have a ticket. Usually, 9 times out of 10, they will at least come to the back and say, hey, we have a woman, just letting you know, we have a woman here with a baby. Now, the comic reaction is like, really? You're letting the fucking baby in? My call, and I've had this happen before when I've had the airline somewhere, and they said, there's a baby here, a young person. I said, where are they sitting? They're like, well, somewhat near the front. I go, please ask them to sit in the back. I just don't want to be able to see them, and I'd rather them behind everyone, so not everyone's looking at a baby. I can't compete with an adorable baby. I don't care if you're breastfeeding or whatever. My words, my jokes are not going to compete with that because it's either going to be people going, oh, look, the baby, or people going, fuck, a baby's here. It's either one. Like when people see baby on a plane, no one's like, fuck yeah, baby on a plane. They're like, fuck, this thing is going to ruin everything. And it's the same thing. It's not the people's fault. And not people are being assholes, but they went out. Most of those people got tickets and got babysitters to get away from their fucking baby. And they're there to be baby free, to have laughs and listen and enjoy. And get, a lot of them probably haven't left the house in a while. A lot of comedy fans start off as people like, let's go somewhere babies can't go. Like that's literally the choice. Where can babies not go? Go ahead, Bobby.
Now just replace the word baby with bush, and you get why Antonio Brown's so upset.
No, I don't.
There are a bunch of people without bushes that made plans to get rid of their bushes, that go out and have some laughs. And here's this bush having bitch just walking around the WNBA.
But yes. Okay, so I think Antonio Brown is going to end up being a hero by the end. We'll have him on next week. Anyways,
Probably
I'm sure he's available.
He's not doing much. Yeah.
No, we can have him on. We can get him, and then we will be able to get Caitlin. We can probably get this lady. But so,
what's up? We got.
I don't know in a theater
my
setting.
Two crackers of the week, Pat and Bobby. They have me on their podcast. They good crackers, not bad crackers.
I don't know if in a theater set. I don't know if in a theater setting, they'd be able to go back there and talk to him and say that the baby's here. But if the ticket says 15 and up, and a baby is not 15 and up, and they can't even say we thought you meant months because this baby was 7 months, so it's not even a year-old fucking baby. If I was running that venue, would be like, we have to have this baby sit in the person as far back as possible, up top, something like, so nobody can see or hear the baby. The fact that the baby was sitting so close that he could interact and see it is one thing. Now, the woman for going, you said before, if she's a fan, but in the article it kind of said, the guy was like, why can't a woman go out with her sister and a friend and have a night of laughs? I bet you this lady didn't even know that who Arj Barker was. I bet you one of those three people bought tickets and said, "Oh, I've got 4 tickets," and they're like, "Oh, well, you want to invite my sister? Sure." And then she shows up with the baby, and they're like, "Yo, you brought the baby?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, I couldn't get a babysitter, mate, crikey, whatever." And then like, here's the baby, shrimp on the baby, and they bring it in there, and it's just making stupid googly goos the whole
What am
fucking
I
time.
supposed to do? Leave it with
So-
a dingo?
No, you're supposed to stay the fuck home because you have a baby. You had a baby, and yeah, you don't get to do everything everyone gets to do while raising the baby. And I might sound like an asshole. Later on, you'll have time in life to do that. But at that moment, the world's not about you, bitch. It actually was about Arj Barker, his name, not you and your baby. It didn't say bitch and a baby live on the theater thing. Maybe you go see that.
And I'd watch that, yeah.
And Bobby'd be like, with pubes or without? What, the baby? The baby's shaving. So
That bitch got a bush?
But it says Arj Barker. It's his night. It's his thing. You're going to it. And it says on the ticket. That's the thing, too. If it didn't say on the ticket, it wasn't clear, and they thought it was all ages, then he has no argument. But the fact that it said 15 plus said he doesn't even want your kid there if they're a well-behaved 13-year-old who loves comedy. It's like, sorry, wait 2 years. My humor, I don't feel responsible, and I don't feel comfortable joking like that in front of them. He's doing his show. He is the performance. The gall that people have, I'm not saying just women, but a lot of people will be like, well, why isn't this about me? It's like, how insane are you? How is it about you? You are choosing to go somewhere. You don't matter to him. He's happy that you came to the show. He's happy to perform, that he gets to have people in front of him. He probably feels great that he's an American who somehow Australia loves. That's got to be crazy for him, but like, that's pretty cool. Someone on the other side of the world loves what you do. That's fucking awesome. But the fact that this woman is just like, I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm just going to do it. I want to fucking, he needs to be comfortable to perform and doesn't want to be there in front of a fucking baby. This lady is obviously, it's not the fucking baby, but that baby's going to be a piece of shit when it's older because this baby's being taught already it matters more than 700 other people. Like, that's going to be a nightmare fucking baby. Right now, in the moment, Trish, the fucking shit mom, stinks. She stinks. She's a piece of shit.
That's why I've decided to call my next tour the Babes Not Babies tour.
Nice.
So like all the signs will be green and it'll say babes, and then in red it'll say babies with a line through it. Like, we don't want babies here, just babes.
Now, I guess, yeah, okay. You have a point, Trent. And I guess at one point they were breastfeeding. I like a boob. I don't think there's any man, most women, everyone likes the look of a boob, but no one wants a baby's head on. Once you have a baby's head on the boob, it's not a good boob anymore. Now it's just a baby eating.
Yeah, and like if you have that philosophy, right, and you're performing comedy, there's now 1/3 approximately of the room you can't look at without feeling awkward. Am I wrong? You know what I mean?
Harry's got to go take care of his baby. That's his wife.
Yeah.
Night, Harry.
So like, even if you are trying to be respectful, like now there's literally 1/3 of the room you can't even look at because there's a woman breastfeeding and you're trying to be polite. Also, I don't think it was the breastfeeding as much as the baby making noises and being a baby. Like, the best feeling as a comedian, and you tell longer jokes, is about halfway through your set when you're telling a longer joke and you pause and you can hear the air conditioner. Like, there's that level of silence in the room that they're that tuned into you, and then a baby coos, and boom, all the tensions got. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why he got frustrated. I think it was less about the woman with her titty out.
Oh, because the titty is in the article. It said at least the titty was second. He noticed the baby, right? Just seen the baby, heard the cooing, and say, "Oh," it made the kind of joke, but like hinted, "Hey, you could go." And then she doubled down and started to feed. Now, at that moment, like, I've had kids places, like when you have to go. I've gone to having a baby with me when my kids were little and going to like another thing at a church, like a niece or nephew's like communion or something like that, where yes, children are allowed, but you want the church, the mass to be heard and things like that. So one of you, either the father or the mother, or whatever your situation is, it could be the two moms or fucking your aunt, your grandmama who raised you. I don't know who the fuck it is. Somebody has to take the job of, hey, I'll be outside with the baby. I'll go to the car, whatever. I'll take a walk with the baby. You enjoy this thing here. Record it for me if you want, whatever. Tell her what I'm sorry. I don't want to disrupt this thing. If the baby needs to be fed, You need to get the fuck up from your stupid seat, go to the bathroom, go to another place, go into the lobby. I'm not one of those guys who says you can't breastfeed in public. If a child has to feed, get over the fact that it's a tit. I don't give a fuck. If I'm in a restaurant and the restaurant's cool, if the venue is cool with the thing, I'm cool with the thing. This venue said we're not cool with the thing. Why are you allowed to do this? Because you don't want to make a scene with a baby? But if she should go out to another room, feed the baby, and then come back in, because the baby would probably fall right to sleep after eating at that age, and you'd have a quiet baby during the show. Instead of, look, everyone, look at me, look how great of a mom I am. Look what I'm doing. Why? No, we're not hearing about in this story? The guy. Because he left because there's no way that he's dealing with this shit. This lady was like, look what I can do. I create life with my titties. Lady, you just got knocked up. Relax. Now you're already at an Arj Barker show, 7 months into having that baby, and not there. You're not going out for a night with the guy. The guy is going to bang someone else and make new babies, making more Arj Barker fans.
Do you think Arj thought at some point she was going to say it was his? And that's why he got real mad. He was like, get that fucking baby out of here. I am not the father. This is not going to be the Australian version of Maury.
That'd be awesome if she like served papers the whole time.
Yeah,
Then that would be cool, but that's not what
like,
happened.
are you trying to say I'm the dad?
V wants to be breastfed in public. Well, we'll see if we can hook that up. I know a guy.
You and me both, V.
You both want to be breastfed in public? All right, Bobby, what you got?
So Liz Cheney was in the news saying that we need to solve this whole Trump criminal case thing before he ruins America. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Liz Cheney? Despite the fact that she and her father are two of the most pro-life people, every time she opens her mouth, I become pro-choice. Is it Liz Cheney? Because saying people should be in prison when her dad shot a dude and got away with it. Or is it Liz Cheney for nepotism and only being relevant in politics because of who her dad was, aka the Dark Emperor of the Republican Party for a while? Or is it Liz Cheney for being a fat bitch with a bush? Pat, we'll kick it to you first.
I mean, I know you gave me a lot of options.
Dude, it's just so funny to be like, hey, we got to go get Trump. He's a bad guy. And it's like, didn't your dad commit war crimes? Like, wasn't there a while where your dad had to go in front of the UN and be like, no, I'm not this monster everybody thinks I am. Oh, I accidentally killed somebody by shooting them.
In your two examples there, for your hatred of her, or at least why is she being this way, you said what? Isn't your dad. So the piece of shit in this story to me is not Liz Cheney. It is Dick Cheney, because Dick Cheney raised this. Dick Cheney was such a fucking evil emperor, awful fucking man, that Dick Cheney has raised a woman that's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get my dad's attention. And if you're not going to pay attention to me, Dad, the rest of the world fucking is. And I'm going to do it where you live, where you thrive. In politics, I'm going to scream from the hilltop, love me, daddy. I've got the most daddy issues of all times. And how do I prove that? I'll yell about Trump. Won't that make you happy, Dad? That I'm doing this? Yeah. So it's Dick for being a dick, being a shitty parent, shitty fucking politician, shitty overall person. It's not Liz. That's what he created. If Liz was just being breastfed at an Arj Barker show when she was early, none of this would have fucking happened. And if she'd shaved that bush, we're tying all the stories in.
Yes, we did. In a perfect little.
Who do you think the piece of shit is?
So I don't think it's Dick Cheney. When you watch a movie, right? Whether it's Lex Luthor, that dude Zod, Thanos guy who snaps, the supervillain doesn't have a plan for after they enact whatever they're going to do.
No,
he
never.
He didn't plan ahead that his stupid bitch daughter was going to be running around. He was busy ruining the world, Pat, enacting the Patriot Act. So they listen to every phone call we make. You know how we get 30 views a day? 20 of them are the fucking FBI watching us because of shit I've tweeted. It's
nice.
So it's not him. I get where you're coming from. It's not, as much as I'd like to blame this 100% on Liz Cheney, it's not her fault. It's mainly America. Like, if your dad was a politician, you should not be in politics. Like, we should hate you and your family enough that you aren't no longer in politics. Like the Kennedys, if they hadn't been assassinated, Robert wouldn't have a chance. Like people don't. Why does Liz get a pass because her dad was the vice president? I just, it's America as a whole. Stop glorifying politicians. They're the people in charge of us. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all Cheney should be locked up.
Yeah. Also, if I'm that dude, I'd also like to blame the dude who got shot in the chest. That's your one chance to claim self-defense and take out the vice president. What are you doing? I
Yeah.
thought he was mad.
It is weird. It is crazy that Dick Cheney was a better shot than former Indiana Hoosier Calvert Cheney. Guy couldn't hit a fucking shot in the NBA to save his life. He was good with the Hoosiers, but the guy stunk in the NBA. That's all the
Clay
Cheneys
Thompson.
I know. Yeah.
My favorite Cheney
Bobby,
is
are
the
you?
one from Temple, who would say
Oh, you
things
know
like
what?
my basketball coach would do, be like, "Go send a message," and then he put a goon in. He hired a middle linebacker to just hurt people, like literally.
You know what? The world needs more goons.
Yeah,
You know,
no, I know. I'm a fan. I didn't realize basketball had enforcers, but I became one.
Well, do you mind doing a quick plug? I'm gonna grab coffee quick.
Yeah, do you think, man? So, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, and then
I
just
will be...
real quick, everybody, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, make sure you're joining us. We'll do it live for here and then join over there. We're going to do the reactions to if anyone was nominating Stuttering John to the Special Olympics Hall of Fame. Okay.
So definitely tomorrow night, I will be right back here on this channel discussing how we are getting Special John or Stuttering John into the Special Olympics. The 11th, that weekend, I will be at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy in Minnesota. This weekend, I think I'm judging a comedy contest, but I would not come to that. Comedy contest kind of suck. What else do we have going on? Right after this at noon, we have a very live Davy Mack sports program. Should be fun. I believe we're going to discuss Pat's 9 for 28 story, as well as all the happenings going on in sports these days. Make sure you're subscribed here and over on the Patreon. That's how you get Pat and I get paid, even though it's not going great. You know, we have a strong core base that I'll be honest, I don't mind speaking for Pat. We really enjoy tuning into every morning and seeing you guys.
This plug has become very sad. It's not going well. You can help us.
No. The point I was making was, even though we might not have the numbers, what you and I enjoy the most is the fact that we get to tune in and see the Stormies, the Christians, the Harrys, the Dominics every morning. Like in the rich, like really is nice that we have a group of people that we see every morning. It's become cool. We've kind of become a bit of a family. That's all I was trying to say.
I like that you called him Special John. I like that whole plug. I had the headphones in. It was a fun plug all the way around.
Do you agree? Don't go come to the comedy contest.
If they have their choice of going to see you in Minnesota or going to see you judge, not even really perform and just judge a comedy contest, yeah, I wouldn't go watch you judge.
Bobby, you can't just keep writing, "You should all quit and kill yourselves" on every scorecard. Why did you score yourself that same way, Bobby? Because I should, Earl.
This week you can listen to me on 95.9 The Fox if you're in Connecticut, or you can go to their website 959thefox.com, or an app 95.9 The Fox, or just say to your Alexa or smart speaker, play 95.9 The Fox from 2 to 7 Monday through Friday. I'll be on there playing music from the 90s and 2000s and also saying dumb things in between. So you can listen there if you'd like. Our schedule this week, we have our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning shows. We have the Tuesday show at 8. And I think Thursday there might be a morning one thrown just on the Patreon. So if you want to get if you see the replay of the Tuesday night show, get access to our Tuesday or Thursday morning shows that will be coming soon. That's all on the Patreon. So just join their POS podcast on Patreon. Bobby, are you familiar at all with
Nope.
Delta Burke? Do you know who that is?
Delta Burke.
Yes.
No, I can't say I am.
Delta Burke was a big star of sitcom called Designing Women back in the 80s. It was a pretty well-known one with 4 women running a business in the South. They had Misach Taylor was like the funny comedy relief thing on the side. He was the black guy from I think he was in Beverly Hills Cop 2, whatever. He played like a gay or whatever. But anyway, it's not about him, it's about her. Delta Burke was always known as a bigger woman. She was very pretty. She won I think before acting, she won Miss Georgia or some shit like that. But larger woman, not like fat, but just status wise, But always got a lot of shit for being bigger. Well, Delta Burke has now admitted that when she was trying to do weight loss programs back in the day, at one point she was doing crystal meth to lose weight. Bobby perked up. Wouldn't eat for 5 days, she said. Delta Burke has given more insight into her mental and physical struggle after facing scrutiny as a rising star. The Designing Women actress, who publicly battled criticism over her appearance, once turned to crystal meth for weight loss. Burke explained on the Glamorous Trash podcast that she started taking prescription pills while studying in London, and upon arriving back in the States, discovered her pills were deemed illegal. Of course, the stories went away. Once on set, she found someone to get her more black beauties, they would call them. You take the pill in the morning so you don't eat. They were like medicine, she told host Chelsea whatever. Eventually, the pills became less effective as she built up a tolerance, and Burke was offered crystal meth as a substitute when they couldn't find those pills. Nobody knew about crystal meth at the time, she said. Burke was told to snort it, but felt uncomfortable. So instead, she put the drug in cranberry juice. The woman of the house star would drink a glass before going to work, where she was starring in Filthy Rich at the time, and then wouldn't eat for 5 days. And they were still saying, your butt's too big, your legs are too big. And I look back at those pictures and go, I was a freaking goddess. And if you look up Delta Burke back then, she was a good looking lady. I don't know. I mean, I guess they wanted her really like anorexic. I never really understood what people thought she was like a big fat lady. Burke is best known for her character designing women, Suzanne Sugarbaker, a flashy, materialistic former beauty queen. Suzanne was the silly counterpart. Oh, yeah, we know the whole show thing. The scrutiny Burke faced over her weight contributed to her exit from the show. She said she was emotionally too fragile to handle how incredibly ugly narratives became, and remembered people constantly asking her if she was pregnant. One time, a fan pulled her coat open and said, "Let's see how fat you are." Who was that?
The man. That dude went on to become a comedic legend.
Let's see how fat you are. That guy's nuts. Holy shit. I thought I was stronger. I tried very hard to defend myself against lies and all the ugliness that was there, and I wasn't going to win. I'm just an actress, you know. I don't have any power. I remember on the set when it got to be really bad and I wasn't handling it well with my smiling face, my whole body language changed. I would kind of hunch over. I just tried to disappear, but she couldn't because she was too fat. She had Hollywood will mess your head up.
Where was she gonna hide?
I always thought, you know where to hide. You can't hide that hide. I want to be a famous actress. I thought that meant you would be famous and well respected, but that's not what it meant. In the moment I became famous, I was like, oh no, this is not what I had in mind at all. I don't think I want to be this anymore, but then it's too late. Burke said she loved watching. Where's back to the meth? Her character evolved. Despite that, Burke remembered how it got very ugly and sad. When she added, I wanted to leave and I was never allowed to leave. Okay. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Bobby for leaving while I talk about a fat lady on meth? No, I'm kidding. Is it Delta Burke for complaining and also not understanding that she was doing crystal meth and not eating for 5 days? Seems like Delta Burke was kind of clueless with a lot of stuff. She thought Hollywood would be fun. She didn't think anyone would ever judge a woman in America in the 80s and 90s. Welcome to the world. Jesus Christ, you guys are getting judged all the time. Is it her for putting crystal meth in cranberry juice? That doesn't sound like a good time for your vagina at all. Urinary tract infection with a bit of meth. Is that guy for opening up her jacket and going, let me see how fat you are? Is it that guy? Is it the woman that said, hey, I can't get you these pills you take in England. Would you like crystal meth? And is it the people on Designing Women's set for saying you're a big fat lady? If you look her up, she wasn't a big fat lady in any way. Who is it, Bobby? Or is it Bobby for doing crystal meth right now?
It's me for thinking you were going to do more examples, taking a big hit right before you threw it to me. It's not that comedic legend. I don't like this word gets thrown around a lot, like hero, but I would say hero. Here's the thing. It's not Delta Burke for taking crystal meth. Thank you, Trent. It's not Delta Burke for feeling insecure about her weight. Everybody's done that. It's Delta Burke for quitting. Oh, you had to lose some weight to keep your job? You had to do something a little uncomfortable to keep your... Like, that sounds like a job. Pet, Do you do things for comedy?
Do I do things?
Yeah. Like, do you things you don't enjoy as much for the sake of comedy? Like, I'll be honest, part of the reason why I go running so much is I know if I'm performing for 30 minutes and I can go run for 30 minutes, I can be high energy on stage for 30. I
Oh, no, I don't have any of that.
think I like walking around looking like this with this fucking hairline. No,
I think
but
you
it
look
does make
sweet.
a great reveal of a joke, and so I keep it that way. Sure, I could shave it all, I could cut the sides down, but it's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, sorry you had to lose some weight, you fat bitch. Lose some weight, or don't be in Hollywood. That's what it takes.
You fat bitch.
Also,
She
like,
wasn't fat though.
well, that's hard too, because sometimes in life people think they're fat and they really aren't, and you're like,
Yeah,
there's no nice way to be like, hey,
body
I've actually
dysmorphia.
been fat. You're not. You know what I mean? Like, it's just tough. So I get the idea of thinking you look one way and society reinforcing it, but also like, I don't know. I've always been when it comes to baseball and people are like, I just don't understand how those guys took steroids. You don't? Then I don't think you've ever really had a dream. Because if you told me there was something I had to inject into my ass that made me the best comedian of all time, guess what would be in my ass? You know what I mean?
Dudes.
Yeah, lots of them.
Dudes.
Because this bush ain't hairy.
I was hoping you didn't cheat. But
This.
it's not her. It's not Delta Burke. It's not the guy from grabbing her open and going, that guy's fun.
Well, no, it couldn't be Delta Burke. She couldn't be a piece of shit. She'd have to be like a whole turd or a giant
She's
lump
not
of shit.
fat. It's not even people in Hollywood
I'm gonna
back
be
then
in
for
so
giving her
much
shit for
trouble
being
today.
fat. I know. It's not even the people that gave her shit for being fat. It's the woman or man, whoever it was, that when she said, "Oh, I used to take these pills called Black Beauties and they helped me lose weight. Do you have anything like that here?" And the person who said, "I have crystal meth." That person is garbage. Even and then her right away showing she knew so little. They're like, "Well, you can snort it." And she goes, "I don't know about snorting. I don't think about it. Can I drink it in cranberry juice? Like, whatever, bitch. Just pay us for crystal meth." And, and then she probably came back and said, "I didn't eat for 5 days. Is that okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, do more crystal meth." Anyone who gives anyone crystal meth as the substitute to something is the piece of shit in the story. If
I don't want
someone's
to
like,
be this.
"Hey,"
I don't want to be this guy, but by that logic, then a lot of doctors are pieces of shit
yeah,
because they're just
yeah,
that's what Adderall is. You ever notice how the skinny girls are like, "I need Adderall." It's like, yeah, no, you need meth. You're a meth head to stay skinny.
yeah, Bobby, that is kind of where I was leading to.
Hell yeah.
Who gives you drugs that will make you fucking insane just to make money off you is a piece of shit. Delta Burke was just she did everything she had to do to make it. How many people want to be an actress and then get to be a star of a fucking the number one at that time for at least a year or two? That was the number one sitcom on TV. And she made it an all women's cast too. Back then, no fucking way that ever happened. They started to do it with Kate and Allie and stuff like that, but Designing Women was a big deal for a little while. It was, my mom would watch it as kids. We would watch it with her. And it was, I remember laughing. And Delta Burke was the funny one. She was like this prima donna bitch on the show that thought she was the greatest, whatever. It was a touch racist towards this one black guy, but then they became like friends, and they showed that on the show. I mean, it was don't give
You
her
know what?
crystal meth; she's killing it.
I think I have seen this show now that you say that. She
Yeah,
was
it
the
was
one who
well
would
known.
always
Annie
come in
Potts
and
was
be
on
like,
it.
she would always come in and be like, hey, hey, hey,
No, that was
I've
not
got
the
a song
show.
to sing to you.
That was not the show. That is Fat Albert, a giant black cartoon man who was voiced by a fucking rapist. Different show. That guy gave you different pills. He's like, "Oh, you don't need crystal. Ooh, you don't need crystal meth. Try these magic pills. You don't even need cranberry juice. Go to sleep, Delta Book. Ooh, oogly boogly. Go to
I
sleep."
mean, is anybody who gives you a drug to lose weight a piece of shit, though? Like,
If they don't know what they're
where do we
talking
draw
about,
the
if you
line?
said, "Hey, I need
Okay,
these
okay.
pills," and they just go whatever, But if you go with someone you talk to, even the Ozempic people, they're not giving. It wasn't made for weight loss. It was made for fucking diabetics. But like people noticed it worked. I think doctors are shitheads for doing that. It's not going to end up being good. Hey, here's some math. You're right, sorry. But the
and like, all right. If any of our fans are struggling with weight loss, seek medical help. But there's a beautiful drug called clenbuterol, and it's what it is a fat burner for horses. And what you want to do is take 1 milligram in the morning and in the evening and putting it under your tongue. Now, what it'll make you do the rest of the day then is shake like this. You won't be able to control the shakes, but you'll just shake. And what turns out that shaking is burning calories. So you don't need crystal meth. Just get horse fat burner that you can put under your tongue and then get yelled at by people when you take it.
hold on one second.
Are you Googling clenbuterol?
No.
Okay, because I was going to say there are several places you can find it. You don't want the pill form, though. You want the liquid form that you put under your tongue.
Go ahead, Bobby. Keep telling people what drugs to take from horses.
No. I'm just saying, like, that's a common thing if you go to the gym and people are like, "What are you here?" And you're like, "I want to lose weight." They're like, "Here, take this." But it turns out if you just do the exercises, you're going to lose weight faster than the horse tranquilizer. Like, a lot of it's false goods is what I'm saying. Or the cost doesn't. So, like, just do your own research. And I don't know if you like, right? If you went, hey, I'm taking these Black Beauties, which were basically Adderall before it became Adderall, and then you came to the US and they were like, oh, those are illegal, but it's the same chemical thing. You know what I mean? Like, is that the same? We didn't know all the negatives of crystal meth like we do now.
I thought you were gonna say before you went into horse shit, you were gonna say, hey, there's a beautiful thing called outside. You can fucking go out there and move around a bit and lose some weight, you fatty.
Not at her weight. You shouldn't be outside looking like that. Having everybody stop and stare. You walk through Chinatown, they go, "Oh no, Godzilla!"
Dude, you should Google Delta Burke when the next story ready, and you'll be like, that was a attractive lady for the 80s. Like, it wasn't bad. Do you have anything else? I've got another one if you don't.
The only thing I have is I told you to watch an episode of something on Netflix.
So I did not get a chance to this weekend. I was too crazy, but I have seen that. Wait, that's a show? I thought that was the movie. That's a show now?
It's a show. Yeah, there's like a bunch of them. This story, Pat, I was watching and I was a little high and I was like, wait, did my AI make this? Is this a fake story I wrote? Because this guy named Skushy in Alabama committed a bunch of fraud and then got arrested for it. And his solution was to hire both a black New York attorney. I'm trying so hard here, Pat.
I know. I kind of did that.
Yeah, I didn't want to make a joke, but anyway. Why would you let him on the computer? But Skushy, so he hires this.
I hope their baby's okay.
Sometimes you wish that, and that's the bad thing that gets you fired. Anyway, Skushy commits a bunch of fraud, and then he hires a wannabe Cochran from New York who realizes the only way you win in Alabama is by having a down-home Southern lawyer. So the government provides their whole case about how this dude is. Their opening statement's like, look, we've got the proof. They walk through how obvious it is he committed the crime. And then the down-home Southern Alabama lawyer just goes, now, based on everything the government said, you would think we don't even have a shot. They seem like they've really done their research here, but my grandma taught me this. There's two sides to every pancake. So why don't we go ahead and flip that over? His closing speech was about America. Then the Cochran guy took the American flag off of the wall and wrapped it around himself to give his closing arguments about how the judicial system led to no more segregation, and this dude was the same. Meanwhile, Skushy's whole play was he went and joined a bunch of black churches and became like a member, started preaching on television. So in the middle of the trial, when things aren't going well, all these black ministers march in and sit in the front row to give him support. And then the minute he got off, they're like, "Did you see much of Mr. Squishy?" After that, and they're like, "No, we didn't see Mr. Squishy around here no more."
Never again.
So then he gets rearrested for a different crime. The black ministers all marching to pray for the prosecution. They marched twice, once for, once. It seemed like I made up the story, dude. I would encourage everybody to check it out. It's not a story. We're not gonna do the POS, but like, if that doesn't sell you on this story, I don't know what will. But definitely check it out.
If I watch it, we might end up doing the POS afterwards.
Yeah.
We both have knowledge.
That was just like, it was so many levels of like, no way.
Jesus. All right. We'll do one more story, then we'll get the heck out of there. By the way, thank you everybody who joined us on this Monday. We appreciate you.
And thank you to the new people like Trent who jumped in the chat. It was nice to see that.
Yeah. Really nice to jump in.
We once had
more people. If you're watching, feel free to jump in the chat. We don't really shit on you in the chat. We don't treat you like a lady with a baby. We don't yell at you. We're happy
or
you're
a fat
here.
woman on meth. Yeah. Trent, did you by any chance play basketball in the Memphis area? In 5th grade, we had a kid named Trent. My dad was really curious what happened to him because he was the best athlete at our school.
Bobby, there's way more than one Trent.
I'm just curious. You don't know? How did this Trent find us?
He would go, holy shit, Bobby. Basketball.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be like, that kid never passed.
Well, obviously, Trent's trying to bang Stormy. That's why he watched this. But, like, we do appreciate that. We read in the comments. He's like, thanks for recommending this, Stormy. She's like, oh, I'm so happy you're here, Trent. And he's like, we're here together. It's like if Stormy said, hey, I have AIDS. And Trent goes, no, we have AIDS. No, we both have AIDS. But we appreciate you guys all for being here.
Stormy, you're the hero. Thank you for this. That's how she tells guys to fuck off. She's like, watch this show with me.
Yeah. You want to keep hitting on me? This is what I enjoy. 2 white men in the morning. White men in the morning. Bobby, you know who our favorite guy is of all time? Mark Wahlberg. He's always fun, right? He's in the news again,
I love it.
Which is always a good time. But he's not in the news for being racist, so it's kind of like a little bad. But he's in the news with someone else who's one of the most handsome people of all time in space, David Beckham. Because David Beckham is suing Mark Wahlberg for $10 million over an F-45 training deal. David Beckham suing Mark Wahlberg after a brand deal went south and he lost $10 million out of pocket. Like, not just like investment shit, out of pocket with this deal. And a 36% interest in his chief branding officer of a company, and he convinced Beckham to fucking buy stock into this company. Soccer stars firm DB Venture claims Beckham was duped by Wahlberg. By the way, I like that name. DB Venture. If people don't know this, a lot of famous, really rich people have their own investment firms that they open for themselves, and they can give advice. But usually they'll give it a fun name about something they do. I think Brad Pitt's at one point was like, "What's in the box?" Like he used it to like people use fun things. Even DB Ventures, you would never think, "Oh, that's David Beckham." It sounds like a legit investment firm, and then you realize, "Oh, it's just his ventures and stuff like that." Do you know the name of Mark Wahlberg's investment firm?
I really hope it's
what. No, it's not what you want it to be.
I really hope it's what investment.
It's not. I chased blacks and threw rocks at them when I was 12. Investment firm. No, it's called
Marky Mark and the Investment Bunch.
You know what? That'd be better than this. It's literally called Mark Wahlberg's investment firm. The guy really is nothing but handsome. That's all he is. He's as dumb as the rocks he threw at black kids when he chased them in Boston. But the soccer star's firm even claims that Beckham was duped by Wahlberg. Beckham claims he lost $10 million out of pocket when stocks that the legendary footballer was promised weren't given to him until after the share prices plummeted. So he bought the stocks, but they wouldn't give him access to them until they plummeted. And they're like, "Here you go, here's your stocks, dummy." He lost $10 million. He's also suing. Hold on, that went away. He's also suing Wahlberg's investment firm, Mark Wahlberg Investment Group, along with a couple of founders of F-45, who launched the company in 2012 in Australia. The 48-year-old English soccer star agreed to be a global ambassador for F-45, a chain of fitness centers with locations in 60 countries, including the United States, that offers innovative, high-intense functional group workouts that are fast, fun, and whatever. Beckham had appeared in several F45 social media posts promoting the brand. However, those posts have since been deleted. Wahlberg and his co-defendants are asking a judge to dismiss the case and say that the claims are fraudulent conduct are baseless. In their motion to dismiss, they claim that Beckham was putting the onus on everyone but himself. The 209-page, 610-paragraph complaint tries to make up with length what it lacks in merit. Part of the motion says. They go into a whole thing about the whole thing. Wahlberg brought a minority stake of N45 in the investment firm with FOD Capital in 2019. Beckham and Wahlberg reportedly became friends after a former Manchester United and Los Angeles Galaxy star moved into the same neighborhood. So they were friends in the neighborhood, trying to get invested in the thing. Beckham first attempted to sue alongside golf legend Greg Norman, who had his own issue with F45 in 2022 in court in California, but a judge ruled that they had to file separate suits. So, who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Mark Wahlberg for giving out shady deals? Listen, if you want to find out, what it's like to work with a transformer or a stuffed teddy bear, you go to Mark Wahlberg. If you want to know what it's like to call a man a gook and then punch him in the face, you go to Mark Wahlberg. If you want to know what it's like to have a funky bunch, you go to Mark Wahlberg. If you want to make investments in stocks, you don't go to fucking Mark Wahlberg, okay? Grow up, you fucking dorks in Hollywood, with all your names on investment firms. How about this? Hire a guy to do that for you and trust someone who's really good at it, but make sure you have all the control of your money, but have someone who knows what they're doing with all your money and moving it around. David Beckham and Mark Wahlberg and Greg Norman shouldn't be sitting together having conversations about where to put their dumb monies. Shut up, you fucking morons. You're idiots. So is it Mark Wahlberg for trying to get David Beckham to invest into his company and do that stuff? Is it David Beckham for investing money into, of all people, fucking Mark? Do you know how many fucking smart people own football clubs? How many people with money, maybe not in America, but definitely in Europe, that he should have gone with to anything else more than, oh, really? Another chain of fitness clubs? Oh, yeah, that's going to be the one. This will be the Starbucks version of it. Fuck you. I never heard of F45. And maybe they're all over the place, but there's 600 of them. I've never heard of those places ever. Is it Greg the Shark Norman? You're the shark. You're supposed to be swimming in them circles, baby. You shouldn't be getting beat up by those people at all. Is it Mark Wahlberg again for naming it the Mark Wahlberg Investment Group? Put a fun name on it. You know what I mean? Shark Investments is Greg Shark Norman's done. At least his sounds cool. What are we doing here? Who's the piece of shit in the story?
It's not Mark Wahlberg for naming his place Mark Wahlberg Investments, because that's the most Mark Wahlberg thing to do. Where it's like, no, we keep the business part business. That's why we say Mark Wahlberg, like something about him being an alpha bro and being like, no, we got to keep that professional. Just use my name. Makes sense. Could be Mark Wahlberg for inviting a golfer to be part of his fitness franchise. Because usually when I think the epitome of fitness, I go golf, followed by soccer. That said, it's not him for that. It's actually It's not Mark Wahlberg at all. It's David Beckham. And what was his name? Greg the Fart Norman?
Greg Norman, the shark, not the fart. Mm-hmm. He was one of the greatest golfers of all times.
You said it in the beginning of the article. Beckham alleges he was duped by Wahlberg. The case should be thrown out at that point. If you get fooled by Mark Wahlberg, what more hope is there? You got tricked by Marky Mark. It is really nice to know. No, just Marky Mark. Not even the good Wahlberg. Like Donnie could convince me of shit. I'd be like, Donnie knows money. Yeah. He needs money. That man does not have much, but he makes the most out of it. But Mark, of course he doesn't give a shit. He's gonna go be in the next, like you said, Transformers.
Now, Bobby,
it is nice. Hang on. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
All I was gonna say quickly is, when I said Greg Norman, you said what's his name. So you're not familiar with who Greg Norman is or what he looks like, right?
For me, Pat, I'm gonna be honest. Golf starts and ends with Tiger Woods.
That's fine. He had battles with Tiger Woods, so I thought maybe you'd know. Yeah, he had battles with him, so I thought maybe you'd know.
Growing up. My dad hated Tiger. He would put the whammy on him every Sunday.
Greg Norman is not American. I believe he's from New Zealand, possibly Australia. David Beckham is not American. He's from Europe.
Mhm.
Both of them, blonde, white athletes. Mark Wahlberg, known racist. I think there's
Yeah.
a deeper story here that we're not looking at. No one's looking at. Where are they all meeting? Could it be at a soccer game? Maybe not. At a golf event? No. At a screening of or a new opening of a Wahlberg or Wahlburgers? Probably not. Or are they meeting at a Klan meeting or an Aryan Nation rally? This sounds like white power shit that we're moving money around. And Burke is saying, or Beckham is saying, if you don't give me my 10 million, I'm gonna let people know you're a grand wizard. You're a funky wizard. I think that this is something deeper that we're gonna start seeing right now. That is a lot of blonde, white. All these are a few of my favorite Hitler thing stuff going on right here. There's something up with those three because like you said. Why are you going to those guys? Why are you being duped? Were you being duped, or was that supposed to be your investment into being part of the clan in this area? And then in return, you make a bunch of money, but then they didn't handle the money right. Because I don't know if he knows about clan members. They're kind of lazy.
Yeah, they are. I was gonna try to contest that, but it's hard to argue with that. I mean, it does take a lot of effort to keep the sheets that white, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, but I don't think those at that level, those guys are doing the laundry. There's a lower level. I hate to say it. I bet you they have a Chinese person do their laundry.
Now, Pat, that zone be the craziest thing I ever heard. They gonna clean your clothes and then touch them and get them all dirty again. You can't get that dirt off.
You know what they say, though? If you need that dirt off in a wink, you got to hand it to a chink. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always say.
Brother Oates, I got to tell you, it seems like your robes have a bit of a yellow hue to them, if you catch my drift. Where'd you get them Johns cleaned?
I'm guessing you'll say no matter what the stain is, they'll get cleaned out in about 15, 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
You'll need to get it clean 15 or 20 minutes again. It's like their food. I get it. It's also nice to know rich people go through the same shit we do. That Mark Wahlberg's running around his billionaire Hollywood neighborhood just being like, hey, how would you like to make money on the things you shop of and buy on your own? What if I told you you could have your own market? Let me tell you about passive income. And then you're like, hey, Coach Schaefer, this seems like a pyramid scheme. And he's like, well, it kind of is. You give me this money up front, and then you go, I'm not going to play your daughter anymore now, right?
Fuck. It's weird that I'm sure this happens all the time to these famous people, but it's funny when they don't get. I get upset when they don't get duped by real con men. I feel bad. What happened to the real con man? The guy who would go around and swing. You'd always hear about this man. You hear documentaries all the time. You read them all. This one man went around like Madoff and stuff. Like someone
I
who
just
went
told you a
around and had
story
this
about
plan.
Skushy doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
it
thing.
went around and took all the money and everything like that. But now it's just Mark Wahl. I don't like when it's on actor on actor crime because they're both idiots. Like Wahlberg's not making that money. Wahlberg doesn't know anything because if somebody told him this is a good deal, buy this thing. Wahlberg doesn't know shit.
Wahlberg
so like I don't like when
all
a scammer
the right stuff. What are you talking about, Pat?
He lost his job. Scammers are losing their jobs to Wahlbergs. It's not Mexicans stealing other people's jobs. Wahlbergs are stealing the jobs. They're stealing burger joints. They're stealing con man jobs. Wahlbergs are filthy.
That's the evolved form of his racism now. He's like, oh, you're going to take my job? Watch this. I'm going to take yours right back.
Yeah. That's what he's doing. They're ruining the good, shady jobs of minorities. I spilled my chow, so clean off the chow. Get it? Your name's Chow? This is Chow?
Well, Pat, why don't you give one final plug? Because I got to get to F45 to get my workout in before the Davey Max Sports.
Oh, yeah. You have your noon thing that you said, and you're going to use the story that you called my story, which is very nice. It's not my story, but I did share it with you. I wasn't the one breaking the news on the bus. But
so when I went and Googled that later, it only came up on like 4 blog sites. So I'm not sure where you found it. For a while, I was like, wait, did Pat do the thing I do? Did he get me back? And
did you find it later?
Not a ton, but there were enough to verify that you didn't make like 19 different Medium type accounts to put this story.
No, that one wasn't a New York Post one. It did pop up in my Facebook feed, but it was from a sports guy who blogs things out, and it wasn't a joke one, so I figured it was real. So
yeah, I thought so too. But great stuff. My joke was I was going to F45 to work out.
Yeah.
We've got the Korean chasing class at 11.
Nice.
That's
so
what he. That's
now
how he
we're done.
trains
So you
people.
want to plug anything else?
Oh no, I was saying that's how he does high interval training. Is just first you sprint to catch the Koreans, then you punch the black dude, then you sprint back to catch more Koreans, then you punch another black dude. All right, we do that for a half hour, and that's how you get in shape like Marky Mark.
So I was just trying to see if there's any more comments here. V's just kind of happy that Tiger Woods banged someone named Jocelyn James. Good for him. Tiger Woods did pretty well with the old
Wait,
vagina.
Jocelyn Jane?
Jocelyn James? I don't know what that is. But everybody, please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Please click on those things. That helps us out a lot. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be back in the morning on Wednesday. Also on Tuesday night, like 8 p.m., we'll be here live. The replay will go over to Patreon for the Tuesday show. Starting this week, I think Thursday will be the day. We'll do one morning one that will just be on some form of morning show will be on the Patreon. It might be me and Bobby together. Him and I will talk about the scheduling. It might just be me doing one quick. It might not be a live thing right there. It might just be on there. But if you're on the Patreon, you will get a Thursday thing. No, you like and subscribe. I did. I do like and subscribe my own stuff. I do. I'm the first one. When I second this is over, I like it. I've already subscribed to me. I like me. I'm a big fan of me. I think me's the best. But thank you, V. So everybody else like and subscribe and let people know. Share. Thank you. Like Stormy, thank you for telling Trent. We joked, but that's awesome that you would say to somebody, hey, check out this thing. And he did. So, and he appreciated it. Hopefully he's back. And we're growing. And once again, I want to thank everybody at WATP for having me on. Go over to their YouTube channel. There's 1.5 hour clip up already about Stuttering John going nuts and saying stuff. And I'm on that clip. So check those out. Like those. The comments are all fun. Thanks to everybody who watched that. It's always fun to go on that show. So, Bobby, anything else before we do our little thing where we say stuff?
Nope. I gave my plugs earlier. Check me out in Minnesota if you're available. And make sure you're headed over to the Patreon. That's where all the good stuff.
Real quick, before we go right away. So you're leaving for Minnesota Friday or Thursday?
It's in like 3 weeks, but probably Thursday.
No, because I was going to say is we'll work on that coming up a couple weeks. If anyone here start thinking about it, if any of you guys want to fill in for Bobby on the day where he's in Minnesota, and even if he does pop on, you could be on there with us to help us if Bobby's tired. Start getting your plan in and let us know. And then Bobby and I will decide out of our people who get involved in the chat. If you get involved in the chat from now until then, if one of you wants to do it, or maybe more than one, we'll have a bunch of you on for that Friday to take up for Bobby. We'll need more than one. It takes a village to be a Bobby. So we're going to have to do that. So we'll start working on that. But that being said, Bobby, any words of wisdom?
Yeah, just take this energy with you throughout your day-to-day. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine onto the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down into the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. And don't be.
And then when he was bleeding, someone walked over and opened his robe and said, "Let me see your fat." Let me see your fat.
Oh, God.